Welcome back to Midwest Access. Krista, you had a conversation with Terry
Yes.
about managing holiday stress around families and gathering. What was that conversation like?
Yeah, it was fantastic. Actually, a lot of us, well, for one, we either look forward to the holidays or we are really nervous.
Right.
Anxiety heightens, our stress level heightens. The conversation was beautiful. Terry's an amazing individual. She really focused on usable tips and tools that all of us can access to really help us navigate the holiday stress. And what to do when we start to feel that heightened sense of stress, anxiety, with some really practical tips and tools.
That is so amazing because when you get in that situation and you go in maybe unprepared, those situations can turn sour really quickly.
100%. And it's really what we say separation in the preparation. She provided us tools to think thoughtfully through ahead of time so that when we go to our workplace, parties or our family dinners or any of these social gatherings, we have these tools to access that will really help us in our own success, but everyone else's too, because we're creating core memories.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see this conversation. Okay, let's start with step one.
First thing I want to suggest is I'm going to call it regulate before you relate. So if you anticipate that there is going to be a person there who is going to push your buttons or trigger you or be argumentative or disagreeable, then one of the things you can do before you move into that space is you can calm yourself down, remind yourself that you don't have to take anything you don't want to take. So, setting boundaries is going to be our step two. But the first step is to calm down, get yourself grounded. Some easy ways to do that are to express or think of gratitude. That's a really wonderful way to get yourself centered. Another way is decide if it's the hill you wanna die on. Like, is arguing with Uncle Bob the hill you wanna die on? And so decide what's important to you and what's not in advance. So, calm yourself through gratitude, through spending some time in nature, through breath work, whatever you use to do what we call regulate or get yourself centered and grounded before you go in and decide what are you going to leave and what are you going to engage in. So that's all things you do before you walk in the door. The more you pay attention to negative behavior, the more it escalates. And so sometimes the best thing to do is just not pay attention to it.
Amazing. I love that compassionate boundaries ahead of time. So for me, an easy one, and maybe for our listeners and our viewers, it would be if politics are that's a burning ember for a lot of families. We've got a
Yes.
lot of people on so different, sides. That could be a topic ahead of time. Hey, we want to create the best moments, the best memories. These are the items that we are not going to be discussing. We are actually not going to be discussing politics because we're not going to start debating. We're not going to start, who's right, who's wrong here.
Mhm.
And I love the idea of leveling even that up and saying, what's a fun family or friend code word where if we start to dabble in something that we already identified, we're not going to, someone gets the grace to say spotted cow. And that means
Yes.
shut it down. We're not going to go there with
Mhm.
love and compassion. We're not going to go there. So if someone calls out the code word,
Yes.
whatever that be, spotted cow. And that means, oop, okay, continue with our day, but we're not talking about
Go
that.
ahead and plan in advance what taking a timeout is going to look like for you, or what type of support you might want. Maybe your sister is there and she feels the same way. And so you invite her to go to the bathroom with you, or to go cut carrots, or to go on a walk, or whatever. It's okay not to have to do all this yourself. You can absolutely find support from somebody else, or find a way to let off a little bit of that steam, but plan it in advance, because that's the problem is we get caught off guard and then we react but we're not resourced to know what we're going to do when that happens.
Okay, so I would love to take this one step further and ask you, so for some families, that dog's getting a lot of walks, right? I mean, it's gonna happen. So, as if you're aware, like, okay, so I'm on step 3, I got to exit the situation because stress is too high, anxiety is too high. So you
Mhm.
do that escape in the bathroom, in the kitchen, or taking the dog on the walk. How do you reset, Terry? How do you get yourself back to ground zero, right? How do you get grounded so that you can re enter as the refreshed, reset Krista version and start as if it's a brand new conversation? How do you get back?
Okay, there's a really easy way to get back, and that's by thinking of something that will evoke a renewing emotion. So, renewing emotions are things like joy, pride, gratitude, um, uh, even behaviors like laughing or so it's super easy. Um, I suggest you uh, go on that feed on Insta that has all the funny jokes and spend a few
Oh,
minutes laughing at them, or pull up a YouTube of cute animals, or take a little 30-second video that you took last time you were at your favorite place. For me, it's the beach in the ocean, and watch it. Or text a friend and make a joke or make that connection. So you can re regulate just by prompting yourself to feel some type of joyful, connected gratitude emotion or
that's so
experience.
good.
And it works really quickly. When we
It's
talk about co-regulation, reaching out to a friend or going and sitting by your significant other or your child and just touching their leg or holding their hand or petting the dog, or I mean, there's all kinds of sensory things we can do to kind of get our nervous system calm by interacting with other people and pets in particular. I know that dog is going to get a lot of walks, but the dog also could get a lot of snuggles. And that really helps people to calm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna reread. I'm taking notes like
Yes.
crazy. So what I'm hearing you say is number one is regulate before you relate. So ground yourself in the gratitudes. I think gratitude is the most powerful tool that we can keep in our pocket for any of these high stress or
Hmm.
anxiety situations. So ground yourself in gratitude. Number two is compassionate boundaries ahead of time. So
Yes.
identifying those boundaries, what those look like, and maybe determine or vocalizing them to the participants of we will not be talking politics, we will not be doing this, but let's engage in this, let's have fun with laughter. And the family code word is potato if things go
Yes.
south. And that means everyone take a breath and pause.
Hmm.
And then the third one, I just wrote exit strategy.
It is a
And then
support and exit strategy.
yeah,
Exactly.
go for a walk, give your puppy or your kitten a snuggle, go use the restroom and get some of that warm water with soap, smell it under your hands, kind of rejuvenate, and then evoke a renewing emotion, meaning, again, for me, it's gratitude. Get back to ground, embrace in gratitude and understand that even during the most stressful moments, we're actually creating core memories that are so important for those that are in our surroundings, right? I think of my children, we don't all have to get along. Like we can have healthy tension and show that we can still have an amazing experience together even when we're
Hmm.
completely opposite and different people. That's
Yeah.
that's part of the human experience.